is it? The four what? The four tops. The four ladies. The four square. What is it? Forensics? Oh, forensics. It must be that, right? Forensics. I got it. Forensics, I believe.
Hey guys, welcome.
Hello.
We had a little homage to Kevin. I was in a spaces with him last night and he actually said it correctly. So
That is the best.
yeah, it's so funny. So I'm here, Ginny, with Julie and Carrie, Mama Llama. And we just kind of wanted to pop on today at the last minute just because, as we all know, the sidebars have come out. And it seems like we are back to 2023. All of the conspiracies have been rehashed again. There's now new takes on them. Tons of lies, misinformation, and propaganda that we're seeing all over Twitter, social media. So we wanted to come on just because, again, we're seeing the witnesses smeared. Worst of all, we're seeing John O'Keefe smeared because of these sidebars. And again, we just wanted to come on and kind of correct the record for one sidebar in particular. But first of all, let me show you guys the tweets, and this will kind of show you what we're going to talk about tonight. These are just a few tweets that we grabbed. So we've got Nurse Kim. What a little bird told me, new witness intimidation charges are coming soon, and it's not Karen or Aiden. And we've got this account, AIM, saying, I told you so. Now that the sidebar transcript is out, didn't you read what Judge Bev hides away regarding how Jen McCabe intimidated and threatened her? So that's what we're going to be getting into tonight. Jen McCabe harassing Karina. Unconfirmed reports from Maza Media, one of our favorites, of same thing, saying that there's a criminal complaint that's been filed against Jen and for witness intimidation. So, and then of course, couldn't leave Aiden out. Talking about the same thing at the end, saying unsubstantiated rumors that Karina has filed a criminal complaint against Jen McCabe for witness intimidation. So there you go. There is our topic tonight. So before we get into that, though, into the sidebar that we want to go into, we want to give just like a little bit of backstory on all of this. So I think Carrie's going to start doing that for us.
Sure. So yeah, like Jenny said, before we get into the sidebar, we're going to talk about, and the truth behind it, just want to give a little bit of backstory. And I know for some people it might seem like, why bother even getting into this nonsense? Obviously we all know it's nonsense, right? But it's not nonsense to the people who it affects, and especially to their children who come home and, say things like, everyone's saying you're all over Twitter for harassing this particular person and stuff like that. These things are really, really harmful to particularly Jen McCabe, right? Who's always the Hannibal Lecter of this story for some reason. So that's why we wanted to come on tonight and just lay out what really happened. Karina Kolakithis was a witness for the Commonwealth in the first trial and a witness for the defense in the second trial. So she was friendly with Jen McCabe before all this, friendly with her up until I think maybe even the second trial, or at least copacetic, or until the second trial began. But we have some interesting texts between her and another Canton woman that we're going to call Eva, just because we know what happens to people whose names are put out there in this story, right? So we just want to make sure that we, people that didn't want to have themselves dragged into the story, kind of keep their privacy. So we're going to show you those first so we can give you an idea of how people's stories and opinions changed over time in this circus, especially within a certain group of Canton residents. So these texts kind of start, I'm pretty sure Jeannie's going to read them, and I think they start the day after John O'Keefe died.
Yes.
So Jeannie's going to take away with that.
Yeah, so this is, they do start January 30th, but I'm going to go ahead and skip to January 31st, just because it's applicable to what we're talking about. It says, this is Karina. It says, she says, it's all over the news. Eva says, I saw. Karina, it's on the radio too. Poor Jen. And Eva says, I know. Karina asks, do you know if Waterfall has cameras? Eva says, I assume they would. And Karina says, I'm kind of freaking out, to be honest. And that's still the 31st. 31st continued. Karina texts Eva and says they have his picture on the news now. It's so sad. And Eva says, oh my God, I haven't seen. I have clients until 8. And Karina says, yes, I cried. And then she sends what looks like an article about John. And she then continues, Karina continues. She says, it's all over the news. And Eva says, oh God, the autopsy results sound suspicious. And Karina says, very. Moving on, because these don't look like they're applicable to that. Eva sends a article from Boston 25 about John. And Karina asks her, she says, I know, what do you make of that? I heard she's in a psych ward. So obviously talking about Karen here. Eva says they're admitting it's a homicide in a psych ward now, or was? And Karina says, I heard is. So she's saying that she has heard that Karen is in a psych ward currently. These are February 1st. Sorry, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Eva says, I would be. Let's see. Some of these are. Okay, yeah, those don't really apply there. Eva says she is too skilled at making herself the victim. And Karina says she just got arrested. And then they show a tweet. Sorry, I have my glasses on, so I can mostly see these, but I think that's a tweet, right, guys?
It looks like a tweet, yeah.
All right, okay, of John. And the news that Karen was arrested. And Karina says, yep, I saw. Eva calls Karen a sociopath. Can't blame her there. Karina says, I can't even. Did Jen see the head injury? And to think I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, talking about Karen. Eva says, yes, I think she did see it. And Karina says, crazy. What do you think is a blunt object? So she's asking about the injury there. That poor man, motive, what would make you that angry? Eva says, I bet he tried to break up with her or something. And Karina says, in front of the house. Wasn't he trying to go have fun? He looked happy with her, which we know from her testimony, right? That everybody's testimony, they all said it. John and Karen looked happy together. Eva says, I heard she sent text earlier to someone saying he was being a jerk and she might be going out alone. She may have shown up at the bar. Oh, my slide is in the way. Can you guys see what that says at the end?
Where he was uninvited. So
Okay.
She said she may have shown up at the bar where he was uninvited.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. My little toggle thing is blocking that. Oh, there it is. Continued. And Karina says, when she went to McCarthy's, and Eva says, yes, I'm guessing, but who knows? Karina tells her there must be text. And Eva agrees that there has to be. Karina says, I knew that morning thing was a show she did. I'm not, Carrie, do you know what she's talking about there? Oh, the whole morning,
Yeah,
that morning. Okay.
I would have to assume she's talking about that morning, the way she was acting was a show.
Gotcha. I just couldn't believe she would do that, or another woman. That would piss her off. Okay, and then we've got another tweet here.
Yeah.
Okay. And Karina says, yep, horrible. Honestly, it's shocking. Eva agrees. It's so shocking. Karina says, she was so nice. Obviously not. And Eva calls her a psycho. Again, agree. My words. Karina says, clearly, he must have known it too. I told you I found her to be manic. So Karina believes that Karen is manic. Have to agree with her there also. Eva says, yes, you did. Let me see if this is continued. Yeah, it is. Okay, perfect. And Karina says, he must have known that she was psycho. This must not be a new thing. Poor guy. And then we're now on February 2nd. Karina's asking Eva, do you know who's going to the arraignment? I think it's open to the public. And Eva replies, Jen is going with Peggy. Karina says, I still can't wrap my head around this. Oh my God, they're showing her on the news. And then they just go on to talk about she's on Fox 25. And Karina asks her if she wants to see it. And she's sending her, Eva's asking for the link because she's at work. Karina says there isn't one yet. They keep showing her. They're in the courtroom waiting for it to start. And she sends her a picture, obviously, of her, looks like a video. We don't have the video, but it must have been of the arraignment. Because we're still on the 2nd here, right? February 2nd? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it was the arraignment. And then she's asking afterwards if Eva's gotten an update from Jen. It's bad, she says. And Eva says, no, work has been crazy. What happened? And Karina says, bail is set at $50,000. Her attorney was asking for her to be released of her own recognizance, but the judge said no. She can drive if the RMP allows her to. Basically, he's saying that she did not know she hit him. They're also saying she didn't get offered an attorney, like no Miranda rights offered. Don't know if that's true. Jen's name is all over the place. They read what she told the police. They said he was badly beaten up. His eyes were swollen shut, lacerations all over his arms. I think his head too. And Eva says, oh my God. And Karina continues, they showed everyone in the courtroom. It was live. Eva says now she says she has a brain tumor. So I'm assuming she's watching part of the arraignment because that was mentioned. Yannetti mentioned that in the arraignment. Karina says she might get off. Yes, she showed no remorse. Eva says, oh my God, unreal. I read they have ring footage of the incident. Seriously, she wasn't crying or anything? And Karina says no. She says they didn't talk about it. I'm assuming this isn't replying to the ring video. I don't think they speak about the evidence really, mostly about the bail and why they wanted it set at what it was. Nick thought it was way too low. He said when he worked for the DA, it was $50,000 for little offenses. And Eva asked her what channel the live feed was on for the arraignment. Karina tells her Fox 25. They were the only ones. She said a brain tumor, colitis, and she had her colon removed. Oh, and MS. And then Eva's asking her if the courtroom was packed. Karina replies that it looked like it was full, but not standing room or anything, maybe because of COVID. We remember they all had their masks and everything, right? So it was still pretty locked down at that point. So Karen is claiming she dropped him off and didn't see him go in. When she woke up in the morning, she saw the broken taillight. Eva says, yeah, she's obviously trying to cover for herself. And Karina agrees. She says, yep. She's saying that she dropped him off, did a 3-point turn, and left. Never saw him after that. Even if she did it by accident, there's no way she didn't know she did it. They checked the car, the cameras, and the beeping thing worked perfectly. She hit him. Oh, I'm sorry. This was cut off. She hit him, panicked, and left. That's assuming it was accidentally, but who knows? Let's hope there really is a video. And then they send Karen's. Oh, I wish they would have saved that because that was all deleted.
I know. There were some funny comments on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking for those.
I wonder if you could get it on way back. Do you think it's still there? No.
I tried. Can't get it. No. I tried really hard to find this because I heard there was some good
I
stuff.
bet you did.
And then Karina just asked her if she's heard anything else. Eva says no. They're talking about a gift basket.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Work. Okay, so I'm just gonna move on there. Okay, they're talking about the funeral here, and they're saying we heard 500 police are coming. Are you going? Okay, so they're just kind of making arrangements here. So I'll just kind of go through that pretty quick. Same thing here. We're on February 7th, but these are just kind of. There's really no need to read that, right? You think?
Right. No.
Okay. All right. February 15th.
Not either.
Yeah, that's kind of. January. Oh, this is January 11th, 2023. So we've moved forward a year here. Same thing though, kind of. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for those. So I'll remove those.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you can see there, I'm sure you guys feel the same way, right? You know, can see that she's, very into knowing everything, right? She wants to know everything that this other woman knows and, kind of like your normal kind of town, right? People just, going back and forth. But she definitely seems like she, back then anyway, thought that Karen had done that, right?
Yeah. And I mean, she even called her, like, she's like, obviously they've had a conversation about Karen before this, right?
Right.
Like she says, remember, I told you, I think she said psychopath, something
Manic.
to that effect. Manic, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they've spoken about Karen before,
Right.
and she's had feelings about how Karen acts.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, none of that was in her testimony.
No.
None of that. I mean, it's like two different people.
Right. So clearly down the road, right, it's obvious Karina's story changed and she wanted to be more part of the Karen Reed circus, right? And if you watch her testimony in the first trial, she's pretty aloof about the waterfall bar. I feel like Ginny has a great video she's going to play, but, she left out a lot about what she had told people, right? She said Karen was complaining about John's family and that they were fighting. We didn't hear any of that in her testimony. I know that I've been told she told people that she did testify to that in her grand jury. I'm not sure why. I remember in the first trial, Lally trying to get that out of her because I knew that, obviously he has known what she said. I think it was his grand jury, but she was kind of aloof in the first trial. And all of that obviously changed in the second trial. And I think you have a video, don't you, Jen?
Yeah. And she just kind of like in the second trial, I remember like she kind of like just tailored a few parts to sound like, so certain things sounded a little more sinister, right? She didn't come right out and say anything like horribly, accusing anyone of anything, but it just sounded a little
Right.
different. Yeah.
Right. Like that, she wasn't invited and she wasn't asked to go, which, I mean, everyone who was there that night, she said she was going home. She didn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it was definitely tailored to sound like it was nefarious.
Yeah. I'll play that video now. Okay.
Now, as far as sort of the overall sort of demeanor within the bar that night, within the group that you were at the high top table with, how would you describe it?
Everybody was happy, having a good time.
No arguments amongst anybody at any time that you saw throughout the entire time you did it?
The whole time I was there was no issues at all.
As far as their interactions between Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant, anything out of the ordinary that you observed between the two of them that evening at the bar?
I saw nothing. I did not see anything.
And extending that sort of to the entire group at the high top table that you were with, anything that you observed sort of out of the realm of the demeanor that you've already described at any point in time in the evening?
No, everybody was having a great time.
And did John come over to Karen at one point and do something?
He did.
What did he do?
So John went over to Karen and he gave her a kiss on the forehead.
Okay, and that kiss on the forehead, why did that stand out to you?
So honestly, I'd never seen something like that before. A boyfriend do to a girlfriend in public. Never saw that. So it just stood out to me. I was like, wow, that's the sweetest thing I've ever seen.
About what time would you say it was that you left from the waterfall?
I think everything started wrapping up around midnight.
And prior to that, what, if any, discussion did you hear or were you a part of as far as anybody talking about where to go next?
So I think everybody was having a really good time. So there was conversation first about where could people go, and there was talk about maybe going across the street to the pizza place. And that's when Jennifer McCabe went up to Karen and said, "You're coming with me." Like, and she like grabbed her, like she put her arm around her and she said in front of me, she's like, "You're coming with me. You're coming with me."
And just to be clear, like sort of how she said that, was that in sort of a forceful way or?
No, like joking around, like, "Hey, you come with me. We're gonna."
When you were leaving the establishment, whom did you leave with?
So again, it was myself, Jennifer McCabe, and Karen.
Did anything unusual occur when you were leaving?
So as we were leaving, Jen went over to Karen, kind of put her arm around her, and she started saying, "You're coming with me, you're coming with me." And Karen's like, "Huh? Like, what? Like, where are we going?" And
I'm going to sustain the objection.
The first part of that answer, the putting her arm around her, "You're coming with me," why did that stand out in your memory?
just because I was there too, and it just was strange. It was just like, "You're coming with me." Like, it was just something that stood out to me.
Huh? What? I'm coming with you? What? Ridiculous.
Whoops, sorry, I forgot. I didn't realize I was muted. I can't get over the kiss on the forehead. I will never forget that, like, ever.
And the way she describes Karen, like, and Karen was like, "What? Huh?" Like, "Oh, I'm so scared.
So innocent, yeah.
So scared. What is she gonna do to me?"
And she says the second time, like, she kind of cuts herself off, but she's like, it was just strange. Like, she's trying to say she remembered it because it was strange. But
Yes.
that wasn't her testimony at all the first time around. It was just, she was just, oh no, it was playful, like,
Right.
nice way.
Right. Everyone was having a great time. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's crazy how much her testimony changed from. I mean, it was even a little off in the first trial. I remember watching it thinking she was off. But the second trial was so much more off and just wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
I still love that Hank like had her up there for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Her face, she was like so shocked that he was.
Yes.
He's like, "I don't need you."
Yeah. I mean, you're useless. Why are you even here?
Right.
So the sidebar we're going to go over tonight is from the day that Jen McCabe testified. It was the first day that she testified on the stand in the second trial. This sidebar is when Jen McCabe was about to take the stand for the Commonwealth. And during the lunch break, the defense sent Special Prosecutor Brennan an email. And that is what this sidebar is about that Jenny's going to read.
So be a little patient with me with this because I really can't see this. So I'm going to pull up my own copy and just try to make sure I'm keeping you guys in step with what I'm reading. But I kind of have to go back and forth in order to do that. And I do still have to take off my glasses. Let me, hold on just 1 second. Let me just get set up a little better here so I can hit forward on the slide. Okay.
Do you want me to be Judge Canoni?
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds good. Actually, Julie, can you have access, I think, can you hit slide forward, like when I go to the next page? Is she still here? I might be able to do it now that I took off my glasses. Okay. So let's see. All right. So you're Kanoni, so you have to start.
Okay. All right. You can start again, please.
Okay. And Brennan says, Jennifer McCabe is our next witness.
Okay.
She's here. During the lunch break, I received an email from the defense, and it outlines perhaps an accusation that at some point, unknown, Miss McCabe had been hostile or threatening to another witness who is a witness listed on our witness list.
Who is this witness?
Kolakithis. Am I saying that right? Kolakithis? Okay. Oh, that was Jackson. I'm sorry. Jackson said Kolakithis. And then back to Hank. He says, Kolakithis from the Waterfall Bar. If I may, I'll give a copy to the court what was provided to me during the lunch break.
When did the defense receive this information?
And Mr. Jackson says today.
There's a date on it, so I'm not sure who the author is.
And Yannetti says it's attorney Matt Rickman, which is Kolakithis' attorney.
Yes.
Okay.
Who sent this?
And Yannetti says Matthew Rickman. He's an attorney for Karina Kolakithis. Oh, yeah, he answered my question.
Keep this. All right. So this is April 14th. That's when this allegedly happened, April 14th, 2023. Now remind everyone, we're in June of 2025 right now.
Mm-hmm. And this is just coming up.
Right.
Brand new information.
Right.
Yannetti says correct.
Prior to the last trial?
Correct.
So of course she's asking that, right? Because this witness already testified in the first trial. So this is very strange.
Right.
2 years ago?
Correct.
All right. So why am I seeing this?
Because we were not allowed to talk to her prior to the last trial because she was still represented at that time by attorney Rickman. So we did not have access to her.
To who?
To the witness, to Karina.
Okay.
We still have not talked to her outside of court.
Okay. Why am I seeing this? What's the purpose of giving this to me now before Jen McCabe testifies?
And now we're back to Hank. I'm providing it to you because in light of that, Carrie, can you read that last one? My slides over it again.
I tried to contact her attorney, who I think is on trial. And I wanted the court to be aware of this. Judge Canoni says, so are you raising a Fifth Amendment issue?
Back to Brennan. I'm not, but I'm trying to proceed in an abundance of caution. I do not see a violating threat. That's really not my determination. I'm the prosecutor, and I think that I'll try to be as objective as I can, but I do think it's important to bring it to the court's attention. I plan to proceed with Mrs. McCabe, but I have not shown that to her. I didn't want to give her any legal advice, and that's why I'm bringing it to the court's attention.
All right. So this is an argument between two women, maybe a threat 2 years ago. Does the defense intend on doing anything with this?
She sees like how ridiculous this is.
Yeah, she's
right?
so annoyed with them.
Yeah, I mean, right. She sees what we all see. This is insanity.
And here he comes. Here he comes.
Yeah. Yep. So here comes Alan. I intend to confront Miss McCabe with it as a potential. It'll go directly to her bias in the case and a potential threat. She knew Miss Kolakithis was a witness in the case when she made the statement. I appreciate Mr. Brennan's caution. It's up to him and his colleagues whether it rises to the level of actual witness intimidation. Oh my God. I think it certainly is intimidating when she's making a statement, a hostile statement to someone who she knows is either a witness or a potential witness in my slides covering it.
This matter just on the, and then.
Okay, back to Hank. My suggestion, Your Honor, is it's now 2:30. I think I'll be a couple of hours with Miss McCabe. If the court allows me to go forward with Miss McCabe as a witness, I don't think the defense will cross-examine today. If they do, this can wait until tomorrow. It'll allow her to seek independent counsel, and if she decides to invoke any privileges, we could always strike her testimony. I think that's unlikely to happen, but it's not my decision. I hate to waste a day, so if I could.
Is there any objection to this?
And Alan Jackson says, no, I think that makes sense.
All right, I would like Ms. McCabe to be given a copy of this now so that she can talk to counsel about it.
And Hank says, I will. I think that's supposed to say.
Yeah.
I will. She has not seen it. I did not want to approach her, but I will give her a copy. And Alan Jackson says, I'm not super comfortable with that. Of course he isn't. This is pure impeachment. I think she should be advised that there's a potential.
So your objection is noted. I'm going to have this marked for identification. She's got to have counsel advise her about this. So.
And Alan Jackson says, you know what? You're exactly right.
You're right.
You're right. I can't see that one.
You can't be advised if she doesn't see it. Exactly.
And Alan Jackson says, so I can't have it back both ways. Yep, you're right.
All right. So it's marked for identification. Mr. Brennan, I ask that when you speak with Ms. McCabe, you give her a copy of it.
And Hank says, I will. And I won't speak about anything else. Wait, I will. And I won't speak about anything else about the trial.
Right.
But I will assume there's a sequestration order, but I'll give that to her. I will alert her attorney when we leave court, and I'll advise the court in the morning.
All right. Thank you.
End of sidebar.
Okay. So what that was, so they then handed that to Jen. And what it was, I'm not going to put it up here because I feel like it's not for us to put up. It's a statement somebody else wrote. We really, and Jen has no idea who wrote it. The defense told Mr. Brennan, as you all heard in the sidebar, right, that it was from, did they say Kolakithis' lawyer, Jenny?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. But it's a weird statement, right? It's 2 pages. I have it in front of me. If Karina Kolakithis wrote it, she wrote it in the third person. It's like a fantastical fiction story about being at a lacrosse game, April 14th of 2023, and kind of basically makes, as usual, Jen McCabe out to be Hannibal Lecter, coming up to Katrina, with her finger pointed, screaming, you sitting up there with them, and you need to pick a side. What side are you on? I want to know, what side are you on? And poor Karina's like, I'm not on any side. And Karina was so embarrassed, and she's never been screamed at like that before. And she's so embarrassed. And then she goes over to Eva, and Eva says, what's going on? Or Karina says to Eva, what's going on? And Eva says, your husband is friends with Tom Beatty. And, Jen is, upset about that, which is probably the only part of this fantastical fiction that's true. So this was the story. This is what Jen was handed, which when she handed it, this meant nothing to her. She wasn't worried about this. She had, I think, 9 witnesses who would have, if called upon, testified that is absolutely not what happened at the lacrosse game. And I'm pretty sure Jen then gave her account maybe, or wrote it down for herself, whatever. But the main point is this was never brought up again in court. As you all know, because you watched the trial, Attorney Jackson didn't ask her anything about this. This never came up. This was never mentioned. This was purely for show. And I think to intimidate Jen probably a little bit.
Yeah.
Make her worried maybe about her testimony, because as we all know, in trial 1, she remained calm, cool, and composed with Jackson, and he could never break her. So I actually feel like that was given to her to kind of get her nervous. And, right? Because, even if this isn't true, you're going to be worried, right? That someone's going to ask you about this, because you're going to be worried what the jury thinks, right?
They did this with a lot of the witnesses, right?
Right.
They did it with Burgess. They did all, they brought up all of the ridiculous stuff about his LinkedIn. They did it with, oh my goodness, who was it? I love her to death. Not Whiffen, but
Hyde.
Hyde. Yeah, they did it with Hyde before she testified, remember? And they had her all in a not a tizzy, I wouldn't say, but at least a little like worked up before she testified.
Yeah, what did they do with her? I forget. Was it?
I can't remember, but I know there
It
was
was a
something.
Maryland case. So it was a
Yes,
case in
yes.
Maryland where something about her opinion, it wasn't like
Yeah.
it wasn't like an expert. It wasn't tested. She had done it with her personal phone.
Yeah, and this is like what they do,
Yeah.
right? With all these witnesses, they find something, anything, right, that they can just honestly intimidate them with. It's just
Yeah,
it's
to try to rattle them, like try to rattle them and throw them off their game before they go on, as if it's not nerve-wracking enough having to testify, right?
right,
I mean, at least for Jen, because there are experts that they do this all the time.
right.
But even they were thrown off, somewhat because
Definitely.
of these tactics.
Yeah.
So
I think it's interesting how this came up again 2 days after Karen filed her action in Bristol court that we know has been moved to federal court. But that was 11/17, and then 11/19, we've got all these people tweeting that Jen McCabe is going to be charged with witness intimidation. It could just be a coincidence, but it's really I don't know, guys. It just seems
No,
very
you're
strange to me that all of a sudden this whole thing is resurrected.
yeah,
Because that was in November, right, Julie, when all those
Correct,
posts
yeah.
were made?
Yep. Karen filed on 11/17, and I think we first saw people. It really got pushed into the feed on 11/19 is when everyone, but it probably was brewing on the 17th and 18th. People were talking about it, and then we started to see all of these FKR people saying that Jen McCabe was going to be charged with witnessing for something that she did to Karina. So.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, we brought up Tom Beatty, right? Like, I mean, he was basically he's part of the backstory. Like, we have to go back to 2023,
Right.
tell that backstory to
Yes.
work our way back up to all of this.
Right.
He's just another one of those Canton residents that tried to and wanted to insert themselves into the case. And he's caused, I don't think he gets called out as much as he needs to be called out, because he has wreaked havoc in the background. And it probably because I don't think that we know of, at least, he's not on Twitter, right? And
Right.
he's not that active as far as at least that I've seen in the Karen groups on Facebook and stuff like that. So, maybe that's why he gets to sit a little bit in the background, but he really shouldn't be allowed to, because he's stirred up a lot of this stuff.
Well, we also saw, right, in the show that we did, that Julie did a lot of the preparing on it for the Colin files.
Yes.
I mean, he's the one that put Colin in the house, right?
Mm-hmm. We actually have that.
Yeah, that they blamed, Scanlon for, but it was him.
Mm-hmm. And this is, I meant to show this actually when we started talking about him. So, I mean, there he is, right, with microdots. And Richie calls him a close friend.
A hero.
Yeah, a hero.
Why is he a hero?
Yeah, not the words I would use.
Yeah, why is he a hero?
Mm-hmm. Good question.
Yeah. So, I mean, this guy was harassing and intimidating Jen, her daughter, her nieces, her daughter's friends, way back in 2022. In April of 2023, days before TB first article came out, he approached Jen and Matt at a lacrosse game, saying that they wouldn't have friends for long, which, by the way, is actual witness intimidation. After the game, he had words with another dad there, also Jen's husband, Matt, and many others. So these are all the things that they have witnesses to, right? Which is why you never saw any of these people on the stand.
Right. Do you want me to play that video from the lacrosse game?
Yeah, I think that video is what I just said happened before that. So that's a good video. This is the same one after this encounter that you're going to show. That's when he called Jen the C word after the game. All the dads were kind of trying to, get everything under control. But, these are the kind of people that the defense put on their witness list just to intimidate all of these people. And you never saw, obviously.
Right. Disappeared like the their driveway people, right? That were supposed to reenact Karen hitting the Traverse
Yes.
and breaking her taillight. They all disappeared.
Yes.
Yeah, let me play that one.
Come on, girls, let's go! Here you go. You looked at me for 15 months now. Are you looking at me? Keep walking. Just keep walking. Nobody wants you. Let's go, Green! Still got everybody around you, right? I do. Go be by yourself. For how long?
Woo! So if you couldn't hear, he's walking in front of Jen and a bunch of people at a game and says, "So you still have everyone around you, huh?" Which is such a, I mean, he's a guy and he's saying this like ridiculous, like he's jealous that she has friends.
And he said something about like, you haven't looked at me in however many months or something.
And now you're looking at me.
And now you're looking at me as if he can look anywhere else.
I can't look at anyone else. You're standing right in front of me.
You're blocking the entire view.
Oh my God.
Like what? Where am I supposed to look at the sky? Like you're right there, dude.
This is just before Aiden published that first article.
Yes.
Sorry, you guys, I'm behind. So it's just before Aiden publishes that first article. Another like weird coincidence, right, guys? Very weird.
And then Julie, after that video is everything that I have just talked about. I should have let Ginny play it first. Is the he went up to her, asked her why she Googled how long to die in the cold. I think she said, that I didn't do that. And then he said, you're not going to have friends for long, because I mean, he knew that article was coming out. He knew. So he was, threatening her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he was part of, like we said, he was part of a big part of the Collins story.
He was. That's where they got his name. There you go.
Yeah. There's the text messages, which I think we went over these before, right?
Yeah, we did them on the Collins show, but I'm not sure if people really understood how connected Tom Beatty was to what happened to Colin Albert. That was all from the Beatties.
Yeah. Yep. Do you want to read those, Julie? Like, can you see them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this Aiden is very upset this day. He does not think that he has proof that Colin was in the house. So we're going to start there. And Aiden says, it's really, really important for me to know how we know. Interesting that he said we, right? We know Colin was in that house. And so this is the intermediary. And she says, 1 second. And he says, sorry, I'm just running out and need to finish. And so then the response comes back. And this is from Karen, Tom Beatty, but I don't recommend burning Tom Beatty. And then Aiden says, I can't publish unless I know exactly how you know Colin was in that house. I can't do this via text. I don't know what that means. There was a comment that Karen had made earlier. That's what he's talking about as far as I don't know what that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was to the I don't recommend you burning Tom Beatty. He didn't understand.
Why do you I don't understand that either, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
I don't get it. I'm with Aiden. Like, what the hell does that mean?
That's a good deposition question, right?
Right. No, really. Like, what does that mean?
And why was she protecting them?
Yeah, well, and then she comes back and says, and TB can't say, quote, the defense has had a source that Colin was there. It's important for us. And then she puts it in capital letters and TB. So, that's another statement that
I never saw that. I never noticed that.
That is such a loaded statement. She's saying you can't burn Tom Beatty and you can't say that we have a source. So then Aiden's really, really upset. And he's like, dude, call me, need to talk, emergency. And the intermediary says, I can't, 1 second. And Colin says, Aiden says here, well, I'm starting to lose confidence. Colin was in that house and I'm freaking out. I don't see how Tom could know Colin was in that house. And Aiden, it was 100% correct here. There's no way that Tom Beatty would have been able to put Colin in that house or when he was in that house. Tom Beatty had none of that information. And yet he's holding himself out there as a person who has this, vital information that he can prove that Colin was in the house.
Yep.
And then I think, is there any more to that, Jenny, or did I just
No,
say two?
just
Well,
these two.
I think then they had a phone call, right?
They did. They had a phone call.
So she must have told him whatever
Yep.
he needed to hear, unfortunately, and he believed her. But I mean, he knew.
Oh yeah. I mean, he knew. And
Yep.
he was exactly right. That there's no way that Tom Beatty would be able to say that. And you know what? If he could have, why wasn't the defense taking a written statement, an affidavit, and filing that with the court? Like, we know for sure he was there. Defense wasn't doing that because it was
Right.
all gossip and it was all rumors and they knew it.
Right. And it was all, a silly, Colin had Snapchatted or whatnot, Tom's daughter. Who cares? Who cares?
Right. Right.
And then they, made this whole, narrative up, that he texted her for a ride, which is a complete lie. She didn't even have her license. She didn't have a car. And it just took off from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, that was the guy, right, that started this whole thing. He was going around calling these people murderers. He was calling Jen the C word at games. You just saw the video of him. So at that lacrosse game, which I don't know who wrote that statement that, they sent to Attorney Brennan, Jen made it really clear to Karina that anyone who's friends with that man who's been making up lies, creating false narratives, blaming her family for murder, harassing Jen, harassing her friends, her family, her teenage daughters, calling her the C word, threatening her. She can't be friends with anyone who's friends with someone like that. That was the pick a side. This had nothing to do with Karen Reed's trial, witness intimidation. It wasn't, oh, if you think Karen Reed's guilty, you're not a friend of mine. Right. Absolutely not. This was about what they perceived as a pretty dangerous guy, right?
Yeah.
And did not want, and I mean, who could blame her? Who would blame her?
No, nobody. I would want nothing to do with him or anybody associated with him.
Right. She's not going to be friends with someone who's friendly with a man who's harassing and intimidating her family. That's common sense.
Right.
I mean, the animosity that he showed towards her at that game when he walked by and the look in his eyes. And I just find it so strange because what man does that to a woman? I think we've all been sports moms and we know how things are. Yeah. I've never seen a man behave like that. Never. It's disturbing. It's very disturbing.
Yeah. And he's not a little guy. He's a big guy.
Right. Yeah. So after Jen McCabe was handed that, because Judge Cannoni had said, make sure they give it to her. Judge Cannoni, you could tell she knew this was nonsense. She knew this was bullshit. And she wanted to make sure Jen had this information because she knows what these guys do. She's been around them for 3 years now. Mm-hmm. And obviously Jen had many witnesses ready to, who were witnesses to that day. And we have an actual statement from one of them, from this same woman, Eva. So were you going to read that, Jenny?
Yeah, I can read that. That one I'm going to pull up though on my own. Because can't see it even with my glasses off. Let me pull up my little folder. Okay, so I did black out a couple names here that aren't important just to protect people that don't need to be mentioned. So this is dated April 14th, 2023. And it's like Carrie said, this is the statement of the witness saying what they saw happen that day. It says, Jen and Matt McCabe, blank, 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 were sitting at the top of the bleachers watching the game. Tom Beatty? I always forget how to say his name.
I don't really know either. We'll go with Beatty.
Beatty, okay. Walked up the bleachers directly towards us, staring at Matt. Tom walked along the bleacher directly in front of us all, staring and making comments directed towards Matt and Jen McCabe.
And we just saw that, right, guys? So this is what happened. So.
Yeah. And it looks like she attached videos. Similar interactions and behaviors had occurred throughout the winter basketball season, as well as with Tom attempting to physically and verbally intimidate Jen. Tom also had accused Jen of things unrelated to this case. Karina and Nick Kolakithis are friends with Tom Beatty and had also been friendly with the McCabes. Karina and Nick did not witness this initial interaction and arrived a bit later, sitting on the lower bleachers with Tom. After the game, we were all exiting the field when Tom confronted Jen, calling her a cunt and making veiled threats. Some other parents intervened, and Tom became aggressive with them as well. Jen was upset due to having been verbally attacked and physically intimidated. Karina, who had been sitting with Tom, came towards me and Jen, shaking her finger. Jen said, "Don't shake your finger with me. You can't be friends with us both, Karina. It's time to pick a side." Karina continued to walk over. Jen walked away. Karina asked me, "What did I do?" I said that Jen is upset, and after what Tom has done to her and her family, couldn't understand why Karina is standing by him. So Jen's obviously hurt too, right? Like, why is she standing by him when he's doing all this to my family?
Right.
Karina said that Nick is friends with him, and he stood by Nick when no one else would talk to him. Jen's comments towards Karina and stating it's time to pick a side were unrelated to the case and were made in regard to Tom Beatty. After this, Jen, myself, and Karina were still cordial at sporting events until Nick openly supported Aiden Kearney, thanking him on video after a court date. So, and I have that video too. Yeah, let me.
You should watch that.
Yep, I got that. Oh, whoops, sorry. I got to remove this first.
Yeah, that video.
Oh yeah, he was one of the witnesses in the case.
Oh!
Nick called you this.
Thank you, Tudor Boy, for everything that you do.
That sounded like, what's her name on Twitter?
Nina. It sounded like
Nina.
Nina.
It sounded like Nina at the end.
So that was Nick, thanking Aiden. You could hear him, thank you for everything.
What would he thank him for, though? I don't get it. Like, what would he be thanking him for? What is everything?
It's crazy, right?
But Nick wasn't the only one popular with them, right? Like,
let's watch. So you guys, after Karina's after the second trial. So this is why I think most of these people do this, right? For some reason, they're missing something in their lives where this is so important to them. I mean, you've got to watch her walk out of court, and it's like she's Miss America to the Free Karen Reed freaks waiting outside, and she is literally shaking their hand like it's like a line of fans.
Session. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little pixelated, but like this is the best we could get.
Yeah.
So let me add that. And I don't think there's any sound.
No, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
I mean, look at this.
What
It's
in the
crazy.
world is that?
It's great, right?
Wow.
I know.
That
I
is.
couldn't believe when I saw that on Court TV. And they showed it on Court TV.
Yeah.
I can't.
Wow.
It's so yeah, guys. So I mean that's we just wanted to set the record straight, but I think Julie has a little bit more information. Do you, Jewel?
Yep. So yeah, I do. So in November, and I remember, do you remember, Carrie, like being shocked by that information when it came out and it was going all over Twitter that Jen was going to be charged with witness intimidation? Do you remember that? It was like shocking. I was freaking out, and I'm like,
because
what
no
in
one,
the world is that?
it was crazy. I mean, her children saw that, right? It was disgusting.
And so we were able to narrow it down to the person that was really pushing that narrative that Jen was going to be charged. And his name was Mike Shute. Do you have that interview video that I sent you, Jen?
Yep.
Jenny? So Mike Shute was interviewed by Microdots. Mike grew up in the same area as John. Really wasn't friends with John. I think in that interview, he says, he played basketball with him in 6th grade. But he also said some very interesting things. So let's listen to what he had to say to Richie.
They're going to get up there and they're going to talk all about Jen McCabe's manipulation and how right out of the gate, she was talking to everyone at the waterfall, calling them up. She talked to Kerry Roberts how many times? All day long. All day long they talked, and they barely knew each other.
Right.
And she was reaching out to that woman, Karina, and she was saying things like, would you like me to refresh your memory about what happened at the waterfall? You know, she's trying to paint this picture exactly how she wants to, and it's very, very revealing. And I think I thought that woman was an amazing witness for the defense. Very pleasant. You could tell she was very sweet. She talked about Karen and what she had to say about John and how, you know, taking care of the kids and then she talked about how Jen grabbed her arm and said, "You're coming with me." More of that type of thing where we see Jen McCabe's manipulation. We see it. We see her, just throwing herself into the mix and talking to. There's no way she wasn't planning this with Michael Proctor.
Oh,
she's at his house.
Yeah.
She went to his house.
How did you know that Karina said, did they say that in court that Jen McCabe called her and said, "Do you want me to refresh your memory"?
No.
Where did that come from?
No.
Sean?
It's just, I know people in Canton.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know people that have been through the Michael Proctor, and they've been through Jen McCabe, and they tried to rope them in and make them a part of their story that is being told in different ways by Jill Albert and Chris Albert and Brian Albert, all sort of on the same page. Carrie and Jen with their little timeline.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Oh,
so
boy.
my understanding is his connection in Canton is more than likely the Korans. If you guys remember, that's the Koran show from Karen's texts. The Korans are also very good friends with Tom Beatty. And so Mike was the person that was putting on Twitter in November that Jen was going to be arrested or charged or whatever he was trying to sell to people with witness intimidation. And so obviously he knew about that statement that Karina had made supposedly to her attorney. And so Mike really hates Jen. Here's one of his tweets. This one is back from May of 2024. And he's got this quote from Macbeth. He calls her Lady McCabe. And I don't think Jen has ever met Mike Shute, ever.
So I was just gonna, and I was stopping myself from interrupting you, of course, but
yeah.
The craziest thing is when I was listening to him on that video, I don't know if I've ever heard that video. He has never met her.
Yeah.
I'm listening to him talk about her and Michael Proctor, two people he has never laid eyes on.
You can
Yeah.
hear it in his voice.
That was demented to me.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear the
hatred.
Yeah, the hatred in his voice.
Never has
for
met
someone he's never met.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we have a few more tweets from Mike. Do you want to go to the next one? So what happens in that interview after he talks about Jen? He talks about a conversation that he had with Carl Dougal. So Carl reached out to him because he wanted to talk to him because Mike was talking and, basically believing Karen's conspiracy theory. And so Carl wanted to talk to him. Carl was John's best friend. And so in the interview, at the end of the call, Mike decides, because Carl is advocating so much that, the witnesses did not do this. It couldn't have happened. Like, here's why, and blah, blah, blah. Mike decides at the end of that call that Carl is most definitely in on it. And Mike had gotten information from Sean McDonough that, Carl was involved and he had fixed the car. And
Oh my God.
that was obviously, very true, according to Mike. But anyways, yeah. So after Carl reaches out to him, Mike decides that Carl is most definitely part of the conspiracy. And so this tweet here is to Carl's brother, Ken Dougal. And I'm not going to read it, but it's a really nasty, nasty tweet, particularly considering Ken was also friends with John. Both of the Dougals loved John very much. And so to say something like that, this person who has an interview with Microdots saying that, he knew John, but he wasn't really his friend, talking to John's actual friends this way is just wild to me. It's just, I don't know how this case has gotten people to this point where you lose your absolute humanity.
Yeah.
And this is the way you're talking to people. I'm going to stomp and make you cry. Like, this is a grown man who teaches 7th grade history. And this is what he's saying to the friend of a murder victim on Twitter. That's,
who does he think he is?
I don't
that's
know.
The thing. They've taken over. It's like someone they don't even know. Okay. He's met John. Okay. I'll give him that. He was not friends with John.
Yeah.
And they've taken it as if John is theirs.
Yes.
And anyone else that dares to try to, say anything about John, about the O'Keefes, about, John's friends, like they just, I mean, like he says, I'd stomp on you. It's just disgusting.
It's so disgusting. He is not theirs. These are his best friends.
Yeah.
Right.
So disgusting.
Yep. And then we have that one where he talks about Karina. So he had a glowing tweet about Karina. She's disarming in sharp contrast to the sight of Jen McCabe makes you want to put on tactical gear and hide in a bunker. I mean, that's just wild.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, it's just insane to me. But obviously, Mike Shute is getting information from someone in Canton. And I think, it's a good point here. So what happened with this case, it was just all rumors. And someone said to me today, it was yesterday, sorry. It was actually Sean McDonough. And he's like, I have deep roots in Canton. So I know all these things. And I said back to him, Sean, I have spent my entire life in towns just like Canton, those upper middle class towns. They're small and they always have that huge rumor mill. And if you're smart, you kind of take it for what it is, which is just rumors. But that is really what has destroyed this case. What has destroyed the lives of the witnesses is people taking rumors as truth. And that's what it was. And Karen was more than happy to take those rumors.
And then, all the things you were just showing, right? And especially the tweet from Mike Shute about Jen being charged with witness intimidation. And, how she was telling Karina, that interview, right? She's calling Karina saying, do you want me to help you remember your testimony? So, of course, Jen McCabe is seeing all this. People are sending this to her. So, I think we have some text. She confronts Karina, right? Because she doesn't know who this guy is. She has no idea.
Sorry, I popped the wrong thing up there at first.
Do you want to read those?
You want me to read them?
Do you want to read them, Jill?
Yeah. So this is Jen and Karina, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a picture of that interview. And it's posted on Twitter. And Jen reaches out to Karina and says, Karina, any idea who would be sharing this lie with Mike Shute? This isn't the first time he has made this same statement. And so, And so Karina says, no idea. Karina has no idea. And Jen says, okay, I just wanted to check with you directly. I don't know why this man continues to spread lies and misinformation. Why would he make the false statement above? Do you know him? And Karina says, Jen, I have no clue who he is. And so in that tweet, it's basically, and it's exactly what Mike said, that, Jen was trying to influence Karina's testimony. And so then Jen says, okay, thank you. Any idea where he would get this false info? I mean, she sounds like just a terrible person, right? She's threatening Karina there. I mean, come on, that was so polite. Like, okay, thank you. Maybe where he's getting it from. So.
Yeah.
And according to Mike, it's someone he knows in Canton.
Right.
Do you want me to put that tweet up again that we had at the beginning?
Yeah.
What was that?
I think it's on here. Hold on. Let me just. Yeah, this one.
So this is during November. This is what we were talking about. So this is right that same week that Karen files the Bristol County action that has been moved to federal court. This is Mike on Twitter, and he's asking, will the charges against JM, who is Jen McCabe, come up? Yes, that's why I doubt there will be any lawsuit. So this is also, talking about the witnesses filing their own lawsuit. And so this person he's speaking to says charges, and he replies back, yes, ma'am, you have to look at the people who have been targeted by Jen's little crew. And then this woman says, I'm confused. She has charges or her minions have caught charges? And the bottom of that tweet.
Yeah, sorry, I cut it off. Sorry.
Okay. Mike says, point blank, charges were filed against her, which was a complete lie. Charges were never filed against Jen McCabe, ever. So, yeah. And it's interesting, again, I mean, who would have known about what happened at that sidebar? Who would have known that Jackson was going to cross or try to impeach Jen on this supposed statement, this unsigned statement that just showed up in email?
Right.
Who would know that?
Right.
I have a few guesses of who might know that. And it's so strange that same week where she's filing this action, this just reappears on Twitter and is being pushed. And you guys saw, here you've got these other content creators and no fact checking. They just start tweeting it out too. And I think one of those tweets had like over 100,000 people saw that. Over 100,000 people. So if you go back the next day and you say, oh, this isn't really true, and only 2,000 people see it, there's still 98,000 people walking around that believe what you said. So it's so reckless what they've done.
Spreading it, right? Spreading it to other social media platforms.
Right.
Adding it to their own rumor mill. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The crazy part of it is these people are tweeting this stuff out. I am sitting in my workout room, and it takes me less than an hour to track it back to Mike's shoot. So it wasn't that difficult, and they just didn't do it because it was Jen, right? So they just love to smear Jen. So anything that they have that they can smear Jen with, they're happy to do it. They don't care if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why, we did this tonight, you guys, and we're gonna, continue to do that, come on for maybe a quick show like we did tonight, just to set the record straight, because we know it won't make any difference, right, with Free Karen Read people, because they don't believe anything. They're not going to listen to anything. But it's important to set their record straight for the witnesses and for their families and for you guys too, because you see this stuff, and I know that you don't believe anything most of them say because it's all nonsense. But when you have receipts and we have a story and we have the truth on our side, I feel like it's important, to get out there. Especially when you have lawyers like her lawyers who were clearly doing things at the sidebar, because they know that that's all going to get out one day, and they know that she's going to get sued for wrongful death like that. They know that. So it's important to them that they continue to dehumanize and smear the witnesses even at sidebar, which is just, I've never seen anything like this.
The games never stopped.
Never.
They started the moment they stepped out of even before they stepped out of their vehicles. But I mean, the games were online. The games were in front of the courthouse. The games were in the courtroom. The games were in the sidebars. Everything was planned. There was a reason behind it. Like you said, I mean, they knew eventually these sidebars would most likely get out.
Yep.
So they had to continue the game.
Yeah, because they also know, right? They know they're rabid fans, right? They're not stupid. They know their rabid fans are going to spend their entire weekends, like they all did the weekend before, poring over these and finding. I mean, I saw the other night, Boozy Beauty they're posting the ring video of the O'Keefe family's home day after John O'Keefe died. And there's Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts, coming in and spending hours with the family. I know one person who didn't spend any time with the family after John died, but they sure did. And
a whole family that didn't spend any time with them.
And they're zooming in on her face, and she looks half dead to me in the ring video too. She looks horrible, Jen. And some woman has the nerve to call, oh, they look so happy. You look at the video, they look literally like they're dying inside. These people are just, they're depraved.
Well, and remember what she asked at the end of her tweet. Like, she says all these things and she says, or was it something more sinister?
Yes. Like
and
they
they just have to always put out these narratives using anything.
Family.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, they have brainwashed this mob into thinking that a man's family would cover for people just to frame this poor woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, guys.
For what? For what?
I don't know. I can't figure it out.
I can't wrap my mind around how they turned visiting a grieving family that you've known for years. Jen is still very close to John's niece.
Mm-hmm.
That is something nefarious. Like that is a kind thing to do. That is what you do in these situations. You
Right.
bring the family things, you visit with the family, you sit with them, you take care of things in the house. There is nothing nefarious about that. It's a kind thing to do. I don't even know what to say.
I don't either. I mean, and the thing they're not talking about, right, is Karen Reed blowing out of John's house 5 minutes after she got there.
Yep.
And not even wondering, you know, who are the kids going to be with tonight? Do I need to stay here? Do I need to take care of these kids? I mean, that's, you know, a little concerning, wouldn't you think?
That's pretty concerning.
He wasn't there breathing. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Ginny, I saw you gloss over.
I was just texting you about that. I want to end on that.
I don't even know if I've ever seen it. And I was like, what was that? Go back to that.
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me find it again. It's 12. Yeah, I was just saying, like, can we end on this? Because there you go. So this is Karina texting Jen. And this is June 10th, 2022, after the grand jury came back and said, hey, you know, we agree, second degree murder for Karen. And Karina makes it clear. She says, I'm happy to hear they upgraded the charges. So,
wow.
Wow.
Change, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you have to wonder, how did that happen? Like, she goes from this, and clearly Mike Shute is wrong, because if Jen had some, you know, power over her,
she'd still be in their corner.
Right.
I mean, how did she go from that to, you know, she's acting like a politician, shaking everybody's hands. Her husband's walking up to Aiden Carney and thanking him for what we'll never know. But I mean,
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, it's really sad. You know what has been done to all these people. It's sad.
Very sad.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Ginny, we have all the sidebars too. So as they, you know, keep coming out and, you know, keep being put out without context and stuff, we're going to do our best to do the same thing and bring, you know, more truth and context to them if we can.
Yeah, I still need to finish going through them. I haven't yet.
No, I can't. Yeah, so much.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to upload all the other stuff too. So, because they did finally, we're getting some discovery, right? Or some evidence. So, yeah.
You know what I think is just so sad? You know, when you got the discovery from your FOIA request, you know, reading those texts between John and Higgins.
Yeah.
And I thought they were so sweet and they were so funny. And then we got, you know, some jackwagon yesterday trying to suggest that, you know, there were, I mean, it just blows my mind what people will do with this stuff. It's just.
I know. And for what? For money, I assume, right? For money. Yeah. And I mean, a good friendship, right? You know, say whatever, you know, the text with Karen, with Higgins, whatever. But I mean, those texts were so cute and so funny, and you could see they were good friends, right? And they really liked each other, and they couldn't have that, right? They can't have that. Free Karen Reed can't have that. So they have to turn it into, again, just and dehumanizing John too. And
Yep.
Yeah. And I texted this to you guys when we were talking about it. You know, I was pointing out how there was a couple Higgins, you can tell, very much cares about his brothers in blue, right? Because there was several texts to John where he's talking about some of the officers, Boston PD, who had been hurt on the job or whatever it may be, but also sending him links, right, for the fundraisers they were having for them, for their families, things like that. He left, you know, he was in New York at a officer's funeral before all of this happened and came back. But this is the same man that they think went to 34 Fairview that night and killed a fellow officer and left him on the lawn to die.
for what reason, we don't know. We don't know why. They don't know why. There's no reason. But yeah. It would be a fun show sometime to go through those funny texts, and something like that would be fun.
The picture of the Minions just throws me. Like, that was hysterical.
The Minions was great. It was so funny.
Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up, because that was really sad to see that that Grant went there with that.
Really unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, really unfortunate.
It just goes to show the motivation is not, they say that John, justice for John is the motivation. It's not. Because if it was, you would never be making up such wild stories about John, who is no longer here. He cannot defend himself. His family then has to see all of this. I mean, and Grant knows it's BS. Like, obviously, I think he's a little off, but I think he knows some of the stuff that he's saying is absolute BS.
I think he knows where the money is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what it's all about with all of these people. It's about clicks and views and dollars. And I was so surprised. I was listening to one of the content creators today talk about how much they were making a month. And I was like, wow. Now I know why you're so dedicated and why you would never look at it with an objective eye, because your wallet is tied.
How much was it?
You know what? It was right around $5,000 a month.
A month for a content creator?
For a content creator, and not one with a huge following. You know what I mean? So,
wow. So I can imagine. Yeah, it must be a lot more for.
Oh, for sure. And so you figure you work like an hour a day, Yeah. So they've got to keep it going. They're going to keep it going until people stop viewing it. They're going to keep all of this going. They're going to keep coming after the witnesses because it lines their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sad. So, and we'll be here with our, doing what we can as well. So what do we have coming up, guys, for our shows? What is this weekend, so we can tell everybody?
Saturday is the Murder Sheet.
All right. Okay, cool.
And that's going to be, both of them are going to be on with us. So it's just going to be me and Lydia with them. So there's just like 4 of us, because it'll just be like a madhouse if there's all of us. So so it'll be me, Lydia, and them on our show. And we're talking about conspiracies. Imagine that.
That's good. Yeah. Julie, our very own Julie, was on the Murder Sheet podcast once.
She was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they reached out to me. I don't remember when that was. They did an episode on Karen Reed. If you guys haven't listened to it, go and listen to it.
Yeah, you know what? We'll put it on our page. Page, on the forensic page, for sure, because that was a great. I remember. I think it was March, Julie.
Yeah, it was before the last trial.
Yeah, and I think it was a two-parter. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah. So we'll get you guys the link to that, because it's a really good interview.
It was good. It was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, is that it? Do you think we covered it all?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here tonight, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yeah, especially since it was last minute. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Night.
What is it? The four what? The four tops. The four ladies? The four square? What is it? Forensics? Oh, forensics. It must be that, right? Forensics. I got it. Forensics, I believe.